Alright, generations of the future. Today you've seen a lot of what we've done, and you haven't heard a lot of why, or explaining what it means, what inspired us, or any of that. And when I first came up with this whole plan, I envisioned explaining that along the way, but it just, well, as you might have been able to pick up, nothing panned out exactly as I planned. So, likewise, that didn't really get included. So, right now, it is exactly 10:30 p.m., July 24th, 2010. And, there's a couple things, well, debatably a lot of things, I want to share with the generations of the future before this day is over and the project ends and I sign off of Project Life in a Day. First, I'm going to break them up into topics just for ease of file management and ease of viewing. First is going to be the most relevant to what's happened so far, is what I just said, why we did what we did, why we do what we do, what it means. I mean, I said earlier that we are screw-offs, but I don't see us as that. We're not just bored people trying to make assholes of ourselves. I think probably the most appropriate word is that we're adventurers. And people use that word in a lot of humorous contexts, like anytime they want to make something seem extremely epic and monumental. But adventure to us, I can't speak for everyone. I'd say I could speak for me on the topic, and I'd say I could probably, in most aspects, speak for Colin. And the rest of the people, I just have to assume. But adventure to us is something that's everywhere. You can't, well, maybe you could, but it's almost impossible to find somewhere with no adventure whatsoever waiting. I'd say you couldn't find anywhere, but I'm mostly referring to happy, pleasant adventures. You can get into all kinds of unpleasant adventures anywhere, whether they be righteous or just accidental. So adventure to us is a spirit, I guess. We don't actually think it's alive, but I don't know, it's almost like this force that if you're willing to let go of a couple things, namely your fears and a lot of preconceived things that you're afraid to try to go against. If you can let go of those kinds of things and learn to trust your impulse, then I think you could find adventure anywhere. To us, trying to cause havoc as sheep and shepherds and such is quite an adventure. Not necessarily like, there's no adventure in being a sheep, obviously. But the fact, as you can see from the footage, a lot of people smiled considerably. I'd be happy if even just one person smiled. That's part of what it's about. And most people don't have the guts to do something like that, because, I mean, it's nothing to me. I'm used to this kind of thing. A lot of people wouldn't have the courage to do that kind of thing because it's completely unconventional. It's, maybe someone's done it before, I don't know. I haven't done my research on sheep-related projects. Maybe someone's done it before, but not around here. Around here, it's completely unheard of. As Colin said earlier, it gave people something to talk about. And to them, it's probably just a quick smile in their day, but sometimes that can completely turn a day around. And for us, it was some of the most fun I've had in ages. I didn't exactly write this out as a speech. I'm trying to explain my entire philosophy. I've never done that at once before. Yes, we do try to be funny somewhat, but not in the way that most people think of it. We're not trying to think of punchlines, and our thoughts aren't typically in a punchline mindset. It's not like that. It's not like jokes. We don't really try to be hilarious. Just things that come to our minds entertain us as much as they do everyone else, if they're entertaining at all. And so we go on that. That's how we put things together. That's how this sheep idea came to be. I was kind of trying to think of something, but I didn't put pieces together and think this is a comedic masterpiece, this idea that I've spent hours toiling over and getting just right, and now we can put it into action. It wasn't like that. I was just trying to... Actually, the full story is, I was in a car with a couple people. Jamie was one of them, and the driver was a girl named Sadie, who has not appeared today, sadly, because she was out of town. I'm sure she would have loved this. But we were in a car, and we heard Cheap was trying to get a job at the Family Dollar, which you might have seen on our trips through Bridgewater. I think so. And so I was trying to think of something we could do to mess with him, because it's Cheap, and he's a funny fellow, as we've discussed. And it just came to me that I thought it would be funny if a shepherd with sheep went in and started not necessarily causing trouble, but just the trouble that comes with that ensued, because Cheap freaks out about things easily. And I can't really explain how it came to me, it just did. I guess you just kind of have to have a mind for it. Everyone has adventures in their own style. That's what differentiates people's adventures, is their style. And everyone has one, whether they're aware of it or not. Colin and I have pretty similar styles, which is weird because we have not known each other very long. But and it's frightening sometimes how similar we are. What do I want to explain now? I don't know. I mean, I hope you understand that it's not just screwing off. It's fun, it's lighthearted, it makes us laugh, and at a certain point we stop taking it particularly seriously once it's actually happening, and we just roll with it, but it means a lot to us. And that's why we chose this for Life in a Day, is because we had a couple ideas, but the original conceivers, I guess, if that's not a word, I'm making it one. The original conceivers of this whole thing were me and Colin. I read it on YouTube and I wanted to do something, and I told Colin about it, and we talked about it. And the reason we chose this is because it was what we considered the most to be, this is us, this is what we do. We're not going to give you an explanation of who we are, which I guess I've ended up doing, but we're not going to try to make up for what we haven't shown you, which I'm not trying to do that. I think we gave a pretty good picture. We're not trying to make up for what we haven't shown you. We're showing you, like, this is our, I guess this is our mark in the world and in Life in a Day. Yeah. So, I hope you haven't mistaken this as just wasting the directors and the project coordinators, everyone involved. I hope you haven't perceived it as wasting their time, just trying to get into a movie. We're pretty sure we're not going to get into the movie. I mean, there have to be a lot of people doing this. It would be fantastic if we did, but that's not what we're shooting for. We want to be in the time capsule. And I hope you're watching this now from the future, because if that's so, then we've reached our goal. And I hope you continue things like this, in your own style. It could be something completely different. But I don't think there's any person that's exempt from the thrills and joys of adventure, whatever someone's specific adventure may be. I'm going to break, I think I'm going to go outside and take a look at the full moon, because it has to look badass in the dark. It's 10:39 p.m., July 24th, 2010, and I'll be going outside. Thank you.